I love how you got a haircut for this roasting that's about to occur, Tree. Like
I actually had this. I had this happening before.
Ladies and gentlemen,
everybody's
Jeebus told me.
welcome to a glorious
Oh, my
episode of Clickbait Sports.
No,
It's going to be a good one.
no.
Aaron?
tickets to your downfall.
Rodgers?
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know what is about to happen right now. Welcome back to Clickbait Sports. We've got the whole crew together because we've got a lot to talk about, specifically with one quarterback. But before we get to that,
No, we're talking about Dak Prescott, right? You always talk about the Cowboys. You hijack it anyway. Let's change it to subject. That'd be
in
great.
the top left
That'd be
corner,
great.
we have 5 Point Vids. 5, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. You'll notice there's a person behind me. That's my kid. He's just sleeping on the couch. So we're good.
I didn't even notice there was a person.
Tell you
I had
what,
no
let's
idea.
focus on
Now
the
you
kid.
see
You
that.
know,
Yeah.
that kid's not Aaron Rodgers. Could he play quarterback for the Steelers?
He could.
Two
Got curly
Fives
hair.
right. We have former NFL Fan of the Year. He is the legendary Packers fan known as Tom Grossi. Tom, what's going on, brethren?
I'm Tom.
Absolutely. Underneath Tom and to my right, we have That's Good Sports, a.k.a. Brandon Perna. Brandon, you doing okay today?
You know, in typical Aaron Rodgers fashion, he just has to let this news come out at the worst possible time for me. Could have waited a day, could have waited a week, could have did it on McAfee, could have.
Yeah, I thought
Like,
he would have done it like at the Pat McAfee live performance. That's
Yeah,
what I thought.
already put
Mhm.
in.
I mean, I finished
4
up
days
a bunch
worth
of work. I was hoping to get some like weeding done or something, but nope.
No,
And
David
Aaron
last-
Rodgers has to do it in the middle of a Elon Musk Donald Trump Twitter.
Last but not
right
least,
in the middle.
joining us for this glorious episode of Clickbait Sports, it is the Yinzer himself, urinating Tree. Tree, we go to you, full screen Tree, someone. We
No.
need your immediate reaction to the news. Aaron Rodgers is now a Steelers quarterback. Full screen.
Tomorrow he's going to sign, but yes. Yeah.
I need Jeebus. Jeebus has forsaken me. I trusted Jeebus. Did I take his name in vain too much? Jeebus, you were supposed to let Aaron Rodgers retire into the darkness, and you do this shit.
Where were you when this happened? How did you find this information out?
Well, I was actually on my computer taking care of a few things, and then I end up seeing my Twitter get blown up, and it's Aaron Rodgers signed with the Steelers. I see the post by Aaron Meroff. I'm like, fuck. Yeah.
Of course he cusses. I guess
I don't
you
even
need
think
a
your
swear
mic's
jar.
on, Tree. I don't think your mic's on.
I mean, hey, it's good. I'm glad it's not on.
Or maybe it's just
appreciate
far
that.
away from your face.
I mean, honestly, let's keep it away from my face. I mean, at this point, I am just molding and coping in any possible way I can. This is me.
You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething.
In some ways, I feel like this is on me because I was saying Mason Rudolph is your quarterback all last episode.
I'd rather have Mason Rudolph. I'm
Talk
going to
to
be
me
honest
about
with
that,
you.
then.
No baggage.
Talk
There's
to
no
me about
baggage
that
there.
because some
Well, there's a
people
little
do not
baggage now. Tree
understand.
ain't got a hundo. Fair
Oh,
enough.
God.
Some people don't understand that some Steelers fans really dislike this move. Talk to us about why that might be.
The simple thing is, Aaron Rodgers, if he were in his peak, it would definitely help out. The problem is he's 41 years old. He's coming off a down year in New York. He's had a torn Achilles. He's not mobile anymore, which created a lot of his strengths. And quite frankly, I think the baggage is honestly not worth what he brings to the table at this state right now. They're trying to hope for Tom Brady for Tampa Bay, but you don't have the tackle ability. Your wide receiver room is still questionable. I mean, Gabe Davis, like, he's just another deep threat. I mean, he's a little different than DK, but at the same
And he left
time,
without a deal, too.
Yeah, they're just trying to play hardball, and now you're at the point where the Steelers might be trying to acquire Jonnu Smith because that's Arthur Smith's version of crack. Might as well bring in Mac Hollins while we're at it.
We'll come back to Tree for some more information on how he's feeling. We're going to let Tree simmer down for a little bit. But let's go to the ancillary members, the non-Steelers members. Where were you when this news broke? What was your first reaction upon seeing this? Tom?
I had just gotten out of therapy and was like, all right, let me check the social super duper quick. And literally 2 minutes after, I was like, thank you so much, NFL.
Were we like, I need to go right back into this room.
I need to go right back into therapy. Just call the therapist right back.
I need an extra hour today, Doc.
It was perfect. And then because I didn't even know the Twitter war was going on between Musk and Trump because I was like, oh, Aaron Rodgers. I dove into work. And then I was like, oh, because everyone was just like, oh, this had to drop right now because I had no idea what was going on. And now here we are.
Yeah, I was like, what game is this interrupting?
Packers.
I was like, did the NBA final or the finals start early today? Yep. I had no idea.
Herna, where were you when this news broke? What was your immediate reaction?
Oh, I was just getting ready to spend time with my daughter and play Barbie. And then I had to tell her, sorry, Aaron Rodgers is ruining your childhood.
That's right.
And actually, Johnny Barks broke it to me because Johnny's been working on an Aaron Rodgers episode. And going to be like a bigger, all-encompassing thing that we thought we'd have more time to do. And then he sent me a text message, and I was like, "Oh!" And he didn't say like Aaron Rodgers just announced he's going to the Steelers or retiring. He just alluded to something happening. So then I had to check Twitter, and then I was like, I thought Rodgers. By the way, Johnny kind of phrased it. I thought Rodgers was retiring.
I was hoping.
Okay, he's signing with the Steelers.
That's what it seemed like he was doing, especially with some stuff coming out with McAfee.
This could be his form of retirement, just playing one more season with the Steelers. We'll see. 5, where were you when this happened? What was your immediate reaction?
Well, I was hitting refresh on Twitter over and over again on the actual browser-based website until I got news of Aaron Rodgers. But, in between the Twitter feud between Elon and Donald Trump, then it popped up. Actually, the way I found out was in our group chat of asking, are we doing a show? I think someone put in the group chat, well, we have something to talk about. And they linked to the tweet that said, I think it was from Ari.
That was me. That was me.
Yes, it was Tree. And then I was like, oh, we're definitely doing a show, boys.
I saw that thing post up. I've been waiting for it. I mean, you think you would have not waited 2.5 months to get this done. But I mean, he dangled the Steelers on a string. They look completely powerless right now.
I think I'm scared for the country, though, because I don't know if this Donald Elon, anytime there's some type of something that grabs the headlines politically, they're doing something. Something is happening that they want to distract you from.
They're trying to distract from the Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, they do.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And Aaron Rodgers, if the Aaron Rodgers,
usually they drop sports news to distract, but now it's the opposite. They're like, actually,
they've reversed it now. And so Roger Goodell was like, "Hey Don, can you do me a favor? Can you and Elon have like a fake Twitter feud? Like we're getting really negative press for Aaron.
The Steelers
Rodgers
are signing one big beautiful ball player."
So my question
it's funny.
How I actually also found out by Tree putting in the group chat that we have to do a show today, and I was like, why do we have to do a show today? That's why we have
Thursday
to do a show
in
today.
June.
But my question to you guys is, how will this season, if at all, affect Aaron Rodgers' legacy? If he has a very poor season or if he has a very great season, and how might this affect his legacy?
I think the legacy talk is, I even if he was garbage, god awful, I think his legacy is still intact for where it is. Like it's pretty difficult to go further down than the Jets. Sorry. But in terms of just his level of play, he's a 4-time MVP. He won the Super Bowl. I mean, his stats are outrageous. He's had some of the best seasons ever in NFL history. I feel like we are so far so far is a little rough, but we're a few years removed, right? So we're 4 years removed from that, his last MVP season. So I feel like at this point, it's nothing about legacy. It's like the guy's still going to go play ball, and
he can kind of only help
his own
it.
ego at this point.
Yeah.
Like, as I said, we've already dealt with this in 2021 with Ben, and then it was just this final get together, and they tried to spin him as this wholesome family man, and that's what they're probably going to do with Aaron Rodgers. Although they won't be able to spin him as a wholesome family man, considering his relationship with his family. Maybe they'll call him a locker room leader or something. I don't know. But
He was a great locker room leader, as he lost.
He was a leader of
to
men.
Will Howard.
It's
I
just
already
okay.
have my dream
Tree,
scenario.
I'm not as familiar with your O line, right? Like, so he looked pretty bad behind a very pedestrian Jets O line last year. Tell me about who's going to protect him, and if you have an immobile quarterback, how does that work in Pittsburgh?
Well, our interior is pretty solid. Zach Frazier looks to be really good as a center, so you have that at least solidified. Guard, you do have some questions. Siumalo was hurt a little bit last year, but he'll be probably at left guard. Right guard, you're having a transition. Mason McCormick is now your right guard, a third-year player. So he's replacing James Daniels. He's off in free agency, but James Daniels was hurt last year. Biggest question is tackle, because Dan Moore Jr. was not good. Broderick Jones, also known as Brandon Perna's favorite player. Shout out to him in the chat. But I did want to say he did not do well. Like, he was getting blown off the ball, had a lot of penalties. So you're hoping that maybe he converts to left tackle where he was in college. He'll be fine. And you have Troy Fatanu, who does have promise, but he was hurt most of last year. Remember, he got benched. Broderick Jones got benched for Fatanu, but the problem is Fatanu got hurt, so Broderick Jones was out there playing. So you have huge questions at tackle, and you're in a division with Myles Garrett and Trey Hendrickson, maybe Odafe Awe, and also with a few other guys too. So they might be in trouble if that case happens.
Hey, listen, if there's anything that's going to come out of this season, is Tree's going to have record views. I mean, the donos
I don't
are
know about
rolling
record
in.
views. I mean, dude, as I said, people love misery. I mean,
That's it.
I mean, look at Brandon a couple years ago. But as I said, just knowing my luck, they'll have nothing happen. It'll be another 9-8 Super Bowl. They'll get blown out in the wild card. It's just
listen, it's going to first of all, the fact that the Packers and Steelers on Sunday Night Football.
That'll be nice.
I can't wait. Like, that is just going to be such a fun game. And of course, like, the schedule makers made this in case he did wind up signing.
You knew that was coming.
So this is the best case scenario in terms of the game that we're going to get. It's going to be good. Exactly. He's playing the entire NFC North. So like that is going to have, some drama at every level.
Aaron Rodgers going back to Soldier Field.
What are you going to do if you lose that game, Tom?
So here's the thing. And so I said this during the schedule prediction video, and this actually had nothing to do with Aaron Rodgers. The Steelers and Packers, like, they are usually always close games. Like, they've had some classic games over the years just because, like, their defense is usually pretty darn good. They're able to contain the Packers. And so I thought they were going to be a struggle regardless. So you have Aaron Rodgers on there, and if he's actually looking good around week 8, yeah, it might be a tough game. And it's being played in Pittsburgh. Like, it's going to be super fun. So I hope we don't lose, because that'd be kind of crappy, but man, I'm more excited for the game because it's Aaron Rodgers against the Packers. That might be the last time you ever see, like, the one and only time you ever see that, besides, during the contract disputes when it's Packers versus Rodgers.
This is not the only grudge match that Aaron Rodgers will be playing. Week one, he's going against his former team, the Jets.
Yep.
What are your expectations going in for week 1 for that game, Tree?
And don't forget Justin Fields getting his revenge game against the Steelers too. So you have an extra motivation there as well. I figure if the NFL would try to turn that into a night game, they would, but they're not. I think the Jets are going to try and kill him because of all the stuff he pulled last year. He skipped minicamp to go to Egypt last year, man. And we're just sitting here like, okay, as I said, it's just a hope and a prayer at this point.
Yeah, but he had to talk to the aliens, Tree.
Well, yeah, I mean, hey, if he wants to talk to the aliens, give us some of your technology so we can get your youth back by about 10 years, get your Achilles fully healed. Maybe then we can actually do something. But unfortunately, the aliens only care about getting high and going into the darkness and drinking a combination of capsaicin and water. That's all it really is.
Capsaicin.
So,
Tree getting a fitty. It's going to be Oh, it's gonna be a great.
I'm gonna get shut out
It's not
today,
gonna
and
be
I'm
a
gonna be so happy about it.
It's not going to be a great punishment.
Yeah,
I don't want, dude. I already have enough punishments to deal with already, man. I gotta I have to buy Sydney Sweeney's bathwater, do a poem on that. I have to ward my house of evil spirits for Aaron Rodgers. I still have to do the OnlyFans. I have a couple others I'm forgetting too. It's just
for those unaware, the donations that are coming in, whoever has the most has to do a punishment.
Tree's getting
at the
punished
end of the stream.
Yeah.
And we are anticipating that will be urinating Tree this week. And we already have a pre-planned punishment that he does not know about under our belt, ready to dole that one out.
Pre-planned, huh? Pre-planned.
Yes.
Yeah. You have a private chat where you smack me. I get it.
You're going to Egypt.
I'm going to Egypt. Ooh,
I think
Tree.
Tree should have to do ayahuasca and film it.
Hulk Hogan.
No.
Hulk Hogan.
You're trying to kill me.
I would love.
Oh my God, we'll go to
Tree
Peru
just
and do
hallucinate.
ayahuasca, Tree. Let's do it. I'll
I mean, he
wear my
already hallucinates
Rodgers
now.
Packers jersey. You wear your Rodgers Steelers jersey. It'll be a time.
I don't want to get to the root cause of any of my trauma, so
That's fair.
you guys can do that.
Tree, talk to me about the expectation for Aaron Rodgers here going forward. Do you fully expect him to be a part of all OTAs, mini camps, training camp? Like, do you think he's going to pull a Jets, or do you think he's going to go the other way?
He's supposed to be at minicamp next week.
I think
right?
OTAs have already passed, so that's why he didn't sign earlier. So he's signing so he can get to minicamp. That's the thing.
And so my question is, are you upset that he waited this long, intentionally bypassing the OTAs, or do you think this is something that maybe he should have just done anyway?
Honestly, you kind of knew that was coming. You kind of knew it was coming just from the way Aaron Rodgers acts and behaves. I mean, this is what you get when you sign with Aaron Rodgers. When I did my free agency stream day one, I once thought that I was going to keep going until Aaron Rodgers signed. Maybe it's a good thing I didn't, because I would have been online for 2.5 months.
2.5 months.
I'd have been like just editing, like, yeah, Aaron Rodgers, you could sign. Big night out. I was like, oh, great, let's sign. Like, nope.
I don't even think Tom would do that. That's insane.
And the problem is Tomlin wants Aaron Rodgers. Like, he's the guy who was pounding the table for him.
Tomlin is like that dude that sees the mugshot shorty and is like, I can fix him. I can fix him. That's what he. That's what Mike Tomlin.
That's rolling in. Hey, it's 1, 2, and 8. That's because 12 and 8. What
does ayahuasca do to you? What are the effects
grow up
of ayahuasca?
usually.
You puke and then you think you see God.
I just want death.
You get a deep reflection of your life.
If you bring out the Jeebus, does it make it like holy water? You just do it like this.
It depends on your preconceived notions of Jeebus.
Do we have any further discussion on Aaron Rodgers before we close this?
I think
wait.
Get 5.
Oh no, it says it's symptoms like vomiting, diarrhea, feelings of euphoria, strong visual and auditory hallucinations, mind-altering psychedelic effects, fear, and paranoia. So basically being a Giants fan. But now
that's all right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The euphoria one, I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, well, that was 12 years ago, but
I feel like for the Steelers, because I understand that there's a lot of trepidation, especially like with the context of the Steelers, right? Yes. Like the best thing that could happen to the Steelers, they're a top 5 pick and they can finally go get themselves a quarterback.
But the problem is they're never going to do it.
Even if Aaron Rodgers is really good, right? Like let's say it's like 35 touchdowns and 8 interceptions, right? Like that'd be a pretty solid season.
It'd be great.
The problem is the team around him good enough to make a Super Bowl run? And the reason I'm talking about it like that is because otherwise it seems like there's very little reason to sign him. Now, we don't know what the contract is going to be. I have to imagine it's going to be, he said he was going to take $10 million when he went on McAfee a few months ago.
I would say like 20 to 25.
That's what I'm saying. Is it going to be?
Honestly, he doesn't need the money. He's already got it.
But is
the NFLPA is not going to let. Yeah,
like that's my first question to you, True. Do you think it's going to be like a 1-year deal, or do you think it's going to be multiple years?
I would say 1 year with maybe a team option.
Yeah, like at most, I think you're looking at a 2-year deal, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I hope it's not a 2-year deal.
No,
as I said, it's the thing is with the Steelers, especially. The problem with their teams hasn't really been offense in the playoffs, and good teams, it's been their defense. It's been getting exposed left and right. And it's because the Steelers don't really adjust and teams pick it apart.
So that's the problem, is that the roster that they currently have, I just don't like. They could make the playoffs, right? Like I think that they could make another wild, but that is
7th seed isn't going to do anything.
Correct.
That's always been the problem.
Continue the history of what's been happening with the Steelers, right? So
the Steelers still think they can do it. It's a delusion because, I mean, quite frankly, Art Rooney II doesn't have the organizational vision. He just wants to keep appearances. And if he thinks, okay, Aaron Rodgers is going to lead us to 9-8, maybe 10-7 if we're lucky, what does that do? Like this next year is going to be the quarterback class. Maybe you make a trade up for a guy, but at the same time, it's just going to be the same stuff. I mean, the team TJ Watt was responsible for about 3 wins last season. Boswell was responsible for at least 2. So, I mean, that's pretty much
say all this.
Right now.
Tree, you say all this. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying that's kind of like the upside for arguing that the Steelers will be better with Aaron Rodgers, and that he's getting an upgrade on defense. And I think you can look at a lot of metrics between Rodgers and what Fields and Russell Wilson did, passing and turnovers. I think they had fewer turnovers than he did, but the Jets defense was so much less opportunistic than the Steelers defense. Like Rodgers just has to be solid and steady. And it should result in the exact same scenario you guys were just in, where, you're either going to break your playoff loss streak of 6 in a row, or you're going to extend it to 7.
Because it's the thing. It's just the thing. It's just going to be the same thing. And you're on that carousel and it just doesn't stop. And that's the issue we have right now. It just feels like, okay, we're kind of in the Colts scenario a couple years ago. You're bringing in these veteran quarterbacks, and you're hoping like one of them works out. Like it's like you haven't had a plan post Ben Pickett didn't work out. You bring in Russell Wilson, he's good for about 3/4 of the year, then he falls apart. Now you bring in Aaron Rodgers, and you hope he does the same thing.
The thing is, the worst thing you can be in the NFL
mediocre
is average, and that is literally the definition of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Exactly,
and Mike
they're
Tomlin.
a C+ team that masquerades as an A. That's the reality.
Okay, I want to play devil's advocate just for a second. If somehow the Steelers make a run to the AFC Championship game, the amount of shit that will be coming out of Tree's mouth. He's like, Steelers got Super Bowl.
I will be able to combination of shitting my. I was just going to shit. Well, as I said, that's probably. I don't know if that would be best case scenario for the team, because they'd still think they could do it. Like Rodgers would come back, and
that'd be so bad.
The question is, will the Steelers have a better season than the Jets?
Oh, for sure.
I don't think so.
Probably.
I mean, the Jets defense is going to be as bad as it was last year, right? Especially with Aaron Glenn.
Are going to be.
I mean, they should be better, but once again, it's a fresh season. I don't know what happens.
And then the follow-up question would be, will the Steelers have a better season than any of our teams in here on Clickbait Sports?
I mean, better than the Giants, I hope.
Hey,
would you like to
I resemble that remark.
A wager on that? The Steelers will have a better season record than the New York Giants.
I'm not taking that action. Are you crazy? No way. There have to be like
Abdul Carter. What do you mean?
We're not going to be good. We're gonna win like 7 games, maybe. That's
7.
Like the best case
That's
scenario.
a nice improvement.
We're gonna have a good defense. I'll tell you that. We're gonna have a good defense.
I'm saying, leaving that defense a little bit.
Defense is gonna be good. 7.
But if Jackson Dart is starting, if it's Jackson Shart out there,
Jackson Dart is not starting. I don't think
here's a better
question.
indicator. Who plays more games this season, Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers?
Oh,
I think Aaron.
I think the over-under on Jackson Dart starts is like 4.5. So Vegas certainly thinks that Dart's going to get in. So that would put Russell Wilson starts at around
12,
11 or 12,
13.
So, that means that I think Russ could give you 12 games.
And is that because the Giants are going to be so bad that the season's already over and they're just playing Jackson Dart to get some experience at the end of the season?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, you would. Here's the catch-22. It's like you want to be so bad that he gets like 10 games under his belt. But if he only gets 5 games in or 4 games in, that means that you were like 7-5 at some point. You know, like it was like the Eli Manning year where he came in the last 5 games, where the Giants were 6-2 that season, and then they ended up, sucking down the stretch. I don't know what the Giants' mentality. I don't know what they're trying to do here.
If the
but
Giants
just like you
get
said,
the first
they're
overall
trying to think
pick,
they're competitive.
are you taking Arch Manning if the Giants get the first overall pick?
You just you Josh Rosen him, and you just say, "Hey Jackson, thanks for your commitment." Yeah, you can always that is the
you trade Jackson
the
Dart to the
NFL
Steelers.
Yeah, the NFL, every team in the draft, every NFL team is willing to go back to the draft to get their guy. You never pass on a generational talent unless you just took one in the draft. You know what I mean? Like,
did you just break it?
Wow. No, it fell apart.
That's
like
a bad omen.
I was like, that's the
it's a bad omen. It's kind of like my video last year on Russell Wilson when the beer can didn't open and it turned into.
Can I point out one thing?
Jeebus, stay on.
Yes.
You know how they say numbers never lie? That's not true with NFL statistics.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you look at, I just like how we can get to it. Rodgers had a passer rating of 39.6 while he completed 0 passes for 0 yards, no interceptions, no touchdowns. He definitely had. Did he throw an incompletion or take a sack? I forget, but
he did throw an incompletion.
Yeah, coming up with 39.6 for that is got to be the dumbest way to measure any sort of statistical performance.
Is that like getting 400?
37.8 or something?
What's that?
Oh,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I think that's like you get 400 points on the SAT for putting your name on it. That's what that's Aaron Rodgers putting his name on that season. He was like, okay, we'll give you 400 points for not misspelling your own name.
It's so like when they say, a quarterback would have a higher passer rating by just throwing the ball into the dirt instead of targeting this corner. It's like
Deron Bland, of course, being that corner.
Okay.
There needs to be a better stat because quarterback rating, whoever came up with that, it should
just be 0.
Accepted.
If you have 0 completions, 0.
Well, my question is this.
QBR,
my question is this
to
Tree.
Bigger role now.
Do you think this now will spur on the Steelers to make a trade for Jonnu Smith? Since we have Aaron Rodgers as the QB now.
Well, the question is, I think it has more. That would have more to do with Arthur Smith than it does with Aaron Rodgers, because the Steelers are already pretty set at tight end. I mean, you have Darnell Washington, who's more of a blocking tight end. You have Pat Freiermuth, who's been decent. I mean, he's not like elite, but he still can do a job. Connor Hayward's still there. You brought in Donald Parham, but I think with Jonnu Smith,
isn't
more or less.
Parham done?
I'm not sure.
I thought he tore his Achilles.
Oh.
Donald Parham.
I thought he signed with the Steelers. I'm not sure if he.
Usually, Tree knows their blood type and
torn Achilles during OTAs. That was yesterday. Donald Parham.
Man.
So that's okay. I didn't see that. I know he wasn't happy about the signing, but I didn't realize he tore his Achilles. But the question is, like with Jonnu, I mean, you're probably not going to have to pay much for him. But as I said, this is just for Arthur Smith, because Arthur Smith loves him some Jonnu. Like that is his version of crack. Like he will he will go into back alleys, and instead of like somebody lifting up a shirt, it's just pictures of Jonnu Smith, and he will buy the whole lot.
Well, and this is what's funny about that situation, because we've heard the rumors that the Steelers are interested in Jonnu Smith, correct?
Yes.
Also, we've heard rumors that the Falcons might be willing to part ways with Kyle Pitts.
Mm-hmm.
So Cowboys. I like the idea of the Falcons calling the Steelers saying, hey, Kyle Pitts is available. And then Arthur Smith is just like, yes, I will take Jonnu Smith.
3-way trade.
Like, wait,
the thing is, the Steelers don't really need Kyle Pitts because you already have Freiermuth.
We do have some other NFL news, a little bit of NFL news to talk about. So do we want to button up this Aaron Rodgers Tree? Final say about this Aaron Rodgers trade. Give it a letter grade signing. What are you giving this signing of Aaron Rodgers?
I give it a. Well, it's just as I said. It's. I don't think he's going to have the impact a lot of people think he has. Like, it's not what he was. I think the baggage just isn't worth it right now, and he doesn't have the mobility to be able to thrive in this offense unless he's just trying to be a play action. But at that point, Russell Wilson did the same things and still had a touch of mobility. So I would give it probably like a C.
Like a C. And, of course, the question everyone is wondering, where does Mason Rudolph go from here?
Probably to another Donald Trump rally.
Yep.
That's fair.
But hey, it's okay. He was invited. So I'm not, I don't really care about that. But I'm just saying, like, that's what the big controversy it was. It was Mason Rudolph and Miles Killebrew. It was for the merger between U.S. Steel and Nippon.
I feel like we of course have to see like what the contract details are, right? But let's just say it's like 1 year, $10 million. Like, on the grand scheme of things, like, is this a risky signing for the Steelers? No, it's not. I do think that Rodgers is better than Mason Rudolph. I don't think that is a hot take. But again, I think when it fits into the context of what the Steelers have been doing year after year, this is not going to provide like long-term consistency at the QB position. And while they may go further, like, hell, maybe they win a wild card game, right? If they, they get on a hot streak. I don't think that this is ultimately going to solve their issue, which is they need stability under center.
And they're not going to get it because at this rate, the Steelers' forte has never been offense. Like, they run it like it's Iowa. That defense has always been their baby. And now the question is TJ Watt. I mean, you don't really have a choice. You're going to have to pay him over $40 million because he's probably going to hold out a training camp.
Please don't pay him that much.
He's going to. Oh, I mean, the thing is, he is. I mean, blame the Browns. Myles Garrett set the market.
That's fair.
Is Alex Highsmith healthy? He was injured on and off most of last year, wasn't he?
He should be healthy. I know they have Nick Herbig too. So you have that. You have Jack Sawyer more or less as a backup. But once again, if TJ like holds out, it's just you got to pay the guy.
And speaking of people getting paid, Rashad Bateman just signed a 3-year, $36 million extension with the Ravens. What do we think about this signing for the Ravens? Does Lamar finally have a guy that he can throw the ball to and not have to worry about for a while now?
I mean, he's had Bateman.
Yeah, Bateman. He's a decent deep ball threat. He's just inconsistent, more or less. Like, he's a guy who's not a number one, but he can do a job as a number 2, number 3 option. Zay Flowers is their number 1. That's the thing with them. So I think more or less it's just finding consistency and getting over that hump. And I think if he likes Bateman, he's going to stay.
That's fair. And go ahead.
No, go ahead. I just want to hear what you were going to say.
No, go ahead. I was going to change it to the other news that we also had coming out today. But if you want to speak on the Rashad Bateman signing.
You're good.
Bateman, real quick. I mean, like, I think this is a good signing for the Ravens. He hasn't been the guy of like, oh man, like, he's so exciting of like that consistency, but it was 3 years, $36 million. I mean, like, you're averaging a little over $10 million a year. Like, I don't think you're gonna have a problem with that.
And he's never been to a day spa, so that's a huge upside.
That's important
for Bateman.
Very important. Very important. Also, it's important to admit when trades did not work. And that's something the Eagles signings don't work. And that's something the Eagles just did when they traded Bryce Huff to the 49ers for a mid-round pick that could be upgraded depending on how Huff plays. What do you guys think about this? Howie Roseman working his magic yet again, or is he? Did he get swindled in this trade?
I would never take a deal with Howie Roseman if I were an NFL GM. Whatever he called about, I would say, bye. No.
Figure something else later, man.
Don't want it, Howie.
So Bryce Huff did sign a huge 3-year, $51 million contract with the Eagles. He kind of underperformed last year. So a lot of Eagles fans are looking at this as a Howie masterclass signing. He was able to unload some of the contract. They are still paying a little bit of the contract, but he was able to unload that to the San Francisco 49ers. And now they have 17,000 fifth-round picks going into next season.
Yeah, you just hope
Philly-
for the 49ers, Huff's a better fit there than he was with Philly. I forget which Philly player was talking about it, and they were speaking like favorably about Bryce Huff, and they were basically insinuating it was just not a great fit for him. Like that they saw what he was able to do with the Jets. It just didn't work out with Philly. Hopefully this change of scheme for him lines up better. And also with the Eagles, when they did that, right, it was Hassan Reddick went to the Jets, Bryce Huff went to the Eagles. It didn't really work out for either team. And I think the Eagles were trying to just move on from Reddick, and that seemed a little silly at the time as well. But ultimately, even though Huff maybe didn't put up the sack numbers, like you're saying, Scooter, this is somehow working out slightly favorably for the Eagles.
Yeah, it's just to cut their losses if we're thinking about it. And you have to remember Bryce Huff had his best seasons with Robert Saleh, so they're hoping maybe getting that spark back can help.
Let's see how it plays out. We're going to switch over now to some NHL news. Game 1.
Oh my God, it was so good.
Was yesterday.
It was so good.
For
That was a
those
great
who
game.
did
Dude,
not
I'm glad you
get
fell
to
in
see-
love with hockey, dude.
I'm so happy to have gotten into hockey. I'm sorry, Scooter. It was just God.
Take it
hockey
away.
was
Take
so
it
much
away.
fun last night.
Walk us through what happened last night, Tom, for
Dude,
those who did
first
not
of all,
see Game 1.
You got the rematch, right? We got the rematch here between the Oilers and the Panthers. Went to Game 7, in which the Panthers almost blew it last year. But to start out in Edmonton, and that crowd was hot, then to go up 1-0 with Edmonton, it's like, oh damn.
With a minute left.
It's like what we've been talking about with the Panthers, though. I mean, like they don't seem to get rattled very easily, and like they just started building and it was 3-1, 3-2 in the second. They go into the third. It winds up going into overtime. Dude, like, it almost went into double overtime. Like this series, if this is just a prelude, last series was always a great last year, but if this is a prelude, God, we are going to get some really good hockey. And tonight's basketball. This is a great time.
Oh, yeah.
It is a great time to be alive right now.
Tom, how do you feel about the Pacers making it over the Bucks?
I mean, listen, the Bucks is just sad right now. It's sad, but I will say watching the Pacers play basketball has been a lot of fun. Like they have been just a really fun team to watch throughout the playoffs, except when they beat the Bucks. That was fun.
What's the over/under on Giannis staying as a Buck this next year?
He's going to be staying.
That's the question.
I gave him a call a few weeks ago, and I was like, listen, Mr. Greek Freak. And we seem to come to an understanding. So as far as I know, I guess I'm completely blindsided. He's going to be staying with the Bucks.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, he's leaving. He's definitely leaving. We'll see how that plays out. But if there's not any other pressing news that we missed,
I've got a
could
couple.
go to the countdown early.
No, 5, what do you got?
Oh wait. So Derek Carr, or is it David Carr? Which Carr? is it?
David Carr.
David Carr is the one that got
Derek
killed
Just
in Houston.
retired.
Yes, David Carr retired, and he said that he passed up the 30. He just couldn't take the Saints' money, so he actually got conscious about it. So his agent is really mad at him probably for not taking 32 million basically free instead of going back. And then the Knicks fired Tom Thibodeau for whatever reason I don't get.
Oh,
Yeah, they did.
gosh.
Yeah, it's
The
just
thing
how
What
the
are your
NBA
thoughts on
is
that?
today.
This man led the Knicks to an Eastern Conference championship. He made Brunson a superstar. He got the best out of Josh Hart. And he did all of this just so someone else can come in and take over. What are your thoughts on that?
This
Five?
seems to be this is like a common NBA trope, right? You get that disciplinarian that has a good system. He gets the players to buy in, but they don't like him because he is a disciplinarian who has a system. Then they fire him. They are like, all right, now the players know how to run the system. They'll just do it on their own. Let's bring in a player's coach. So they'll go out and they'll get somebody, whoever, another Doc Rivers or something,
They're
to
not
be
getting
like,
Doc
hey, you
Rivers.
got
They're not
okay,
getting
not Doc Rivers, but somebody that is friendly to, like, that basically Brunson is going to handpick, because that's how it goes now in the NBA. And Brunson will just pick somebody he likes, and then they'll probably, either get to the finals or win a championship.
To be fair,
To be
fair, I do understand Rick Carlisle was coaching circles around this man.
He
in
was.
that Eastern
I mean,
Conference.
he's been doing
championship.
that for the whole playoffs, though.
Yeah, but that's because the Knicks, their GM built a scant roster. They're only running 8 players. And everyone's like, all right, well, use the bench. And when they put in bench players, they were atrocious.
Landry Shamet was
all
hooping.
over.
Landry Shamet was definitely hooping when he was put in. But it's like a lot of the pundits were saying this Knicks team just wasn't deep enough. And really, another thing they were saying is they just don't have that guy. If your guy is short, you don't win. And they said that basically for all NBA teams except Steph. He's an outlier. So if your go-to number one guy is short in the NBA, you don't win. And they gave examples
Brunson,
like
don't like that.
Allen
Don't like
Iverson
that narrative.
never won anything.
It's okay, Brandon.
I can't think of anyone else off the top.
Best super in this chat. That's really hard to believe.
I'm just
You
saying.
don't think Rajon Rondo won a championship? I mean,
he's
Brunson
not the one,
is
though.
6'2".
You think you're beating Scooter, Perna? I think you're beating Scooter one-on-one?
Dude, I would drain threes.
Scooter hypes up his basketball ability quite some time.
What are you, JJ Redick? Okay.
There's no one. There's no one
LeBron?
in anyone's chat right now that can beat me in basketball.
I would never even have to dribble to beat Scooter at basketball.
This is all I have to do. Watch. You ready? That's all I have to do to defend you. It's over. The shot's not going up. I'm 6'1".
He's gonna kick you in the ball.
You're 6'1".
That's
Wow.
what's gonna make it even harder.
You're acting like
Oh,
Brandon's like a little
It is.
gnome that digs in like mountain areas.
is, though.
Mines for lithium.
How tall are you, Brandon?
Mithril.
6'2".
Why are we on
Yeah.
GPS?
We're done.
What?
That was a good
GPS
call
there.
there. About
Yeah,
Oh,
you're
he
getting
nailed
locked
it.
down.
I love how you
just-
switched to GPS just so you can go find that clip, and I respect that.
Yeah.
You're definitely getting locked down. I'm just letting
Real
you know.
quick about Scary Terry, though. Yes, so he is not so happy about his contract situation, which he's in the final year of his deal. He's 30 or 31?
Yes, 30 years old.
He's going to be 31 next year.
It's a very scary situation.
He wants and it makes sense, you know. I mean, they spent a good amount of money in the offseason, so I imagine this is going to get resolved because they're not going to let him walk out the door. I mean, like
I need to ask you guys a question, and I need you to be honest with me. Don't lie.
the Cowboys are not going to the Super Bowl.
No, I know they are going to the Super Bowl. Here's the question, though. Would you rather have CeeDee Lamb or Scary Terry on your team as a receiver?
Wow, that's a tough
What do you mean,
call.
wow? This is not a hard question. There's a
What do you
clear
mean?
answer here.
Let me you're talking about my team,
Well-
like the Green Bay Packers, right? Because
Yes.
I think there's a difference, Scooter, and the only reason I'm splitting hairs here is because it seems like Scary Terry is QB proof. So I think he's going to put up production regardless. I think CD in Dallas's offense, he gets the lion's share, so he could just be your wide receiver one. So that being said, you need a wide receiver one. You're just going to go with CeeDee Lamb. You know, you can put up a whole bunch of things, but I think Scary Terry deserves. I give him a ton of credit because I love wide receivers.
Are you taking him over CeeDee Lamb? Yes or no?
It's on scheme fit, honestly.
I might take Scary.
Fit?
As of right this second, I think I'm taking Scary Terry on the Packers.
Oh my
On the
god!
Packers, I am.
Yeah, because as I said, like
CD's top 3. Scary is
Right.
top 15.
Right.
Okay.
What are we
he's
talking
top 10 for me.
about?
Top 10 for me.
Here's the
because you
thing.
already have your
Lee-
top receivers.
I'd rather have
I'm gonna
Tim
go with
Patrick.
Scary. I'm gonna go with Scary Terry too, because Leak
Okay.
and Scary
See?
Terry on the same team. Oh my god!
Like for example, you put CeeDee Lamb like on the Panthers. Oh my god, like it'd be so much fun because
What
like
are
you
we
have a clear
Him and
need for a
Tyrone
wide
McMillan.
receiver one. There's not a ton of competition, and in terms of like, I'm curious to see what he's gonna look like with
This is
Go forward with
insane. This is insane. This is a top 3 receiver, and y'all are taking a top 15 receiver. This is
I think
insane
scheme
behavior.
fits important. I'm not even giving you crap. CeeDee Lamb, I think, is the overall better receiver, but I think in terms
Honestly,
of scheme,
Yeah, honestly, it's like choosing Aaron Rodgers between somebody else. Like Aaron Rodgers may be the better quarterback, but maybe someone like Mason Rudolph's a better scheme player. Think of something like that. That's the situation.
Go to the countdown. Immediately
No,
go to the
let's
countdown.
not go to the countdown.
Actually, I think me.
I mean, you're going to hijack
Scooter,
everything and turn it about the
Carney
Dallas
could
Cowboys.
take
What do you want to talk about?
Tree, Adam, and Tom.
for what?
What's
in
that?
basketball.
In what?
Oh, now
Basketball.
teaming up with Scooter?
Me, Scooter, and Carmi versus you three. Scooter and I.
We're
and
winning.
Carmi win.
We're definitely winning. I'm telling you,
could
we're
not
winning.
I'd be up
play
against
basketball.
Carmi, and she'd
Basketball-
probably like keep crossing me over. I know.
You guys
I
want to
believe-
stop fooling around and start doing it on the ping pong
Rules,
table. Then we're
just so you
talking.
know.
I'll destroy you all in
And
ping pong.
don't
I'll
let
destroy
me
you all
see y'all
fucked
on
over
the
by this.
pickleball court either.
Pickleball's
'Cause
never
it's-
played that, but
Oh.
I'm not. Oh, Aaron Rodgers.
I'm smoking you.
No. Kill me.
I'm sorry. I will play Scooter for money in pickleball. I'll play you for money.
Get the drug.
You will lose your money in pickleball.
Let's go. When I see you down in Orlando at next point, we're gonna find a pickleball.
You don't have
court
the
and we are
lateral
gonna run
mobility.
it.
It's over.
We are gonna run it.
I got 199. Let's go.
41.95.
104.68. I mean, we know who's losing.
$27 and tree.
Tree, what are we at? Hold on, let's take a guess. I gotta think.
Oh yeah, let's guess.
Are we?
693.
Yeah, I'm going like 600-700. So
592.
higher.
Adam would
I say a bigger
the
number.
price is
I
right.
would lose the price is right. Yes, $1.
$2.
777.
All right.
What do we got?
890.
925.86.
Oh!
All right.
Aaron Rodgers couldn't have waited a day.
Okay.
Come on.
And when
Someone
YouTube takes
suggested
their
in the
cut,
chat.
that's 666. Makes a lot of sense.
Someone
This
in the
is-
chat before we started said you have to go
Tim,
the
I'm not gonna have
entire
fun with
season
Aaron.
without criticizing Aaron Rodgers.
The entire season.
I think I
The
said that would
season.
ruin your channel in your career. I don't think that's
My
fair.
career's already destroyed. It's fine. There's no reputation to uphold, my man.
But I think maybe for the next clickbait, you have to have 10 sincere reasons why Aaron Rodgers can save the Steelers.
If we don't want to go all season 2, you could go like, hey, week
First-
10 is when you could start bashing Aaron Rodgers. But no matter how bad he is,
Oh, or we could just
Is this a
limit the
clickbait
amount
only
of what
thing?
type of
There's-
words that he can use. That
I
he
think his
can't
punishment is
mention ayahuasca.
he has to not cuss for a whole stream.
Ooh, he wouldn't
Not
make it.
cuss.
It's
What?
like, that's like telling Antonio Cromartie not to have more kids.
And if he does,
It's like
it
saying Antonio
resets.
Brown not to be benched.
If he does, it resets until he completes one full stream.
I think he's got to do
I don't
like
think that's-
maybe
I
a
don't mean to
mini
clickbait.
episode
I
of
don't mean to
Days of Our
clickbait.
Steelers.
I mean like watching the
for
Steelers
clickbait only.
live.
now if you know
Oh,
you're saying in games,
during
can't.
Yeah, like
can't
during
swear
a
during
game. Yeah, so like he's watching the Steelers
Wow.
versus the Jets. He cannot cuss the whole game, and if he does, it resets
He's cooked.
till
Ooh.
next week.
Oh God.
I mean, but every time there's a fumble, he says you F the ball. Like and that's
Yeah.
as knee jerk as the
It's
actual
like I'm just trying to get
knee-jerk test.
profanity off the internet.
Yes.
I'm just,
Scooters on a mission.
I'm just throwing it
I
out.
mean, the
there.
jersey is
cruel
a
and
given.
unusual
The
punishment.
buying
Garbage
Aaron
juice and
Rodgers
for
jersey,
vanity.
that's a given. I feel like that is already
Yes.
assumed that has to happen.
Have to buy an Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers jersey.
I mean,
I feel like that's worn for the majority of the games this year.
But an Aaron Rodgers Jets jersey. That would also be.
Jets jersey.
You can't even stand Aaron Rodgers as a Steeler. That would be an appropriate punishment.
Well, at least they're on sale.
What if it's so? Is being nice to Rodgers? Is that just for clickbait?
I thought for the season.
No, that's
The whole
just-
season, but just on clickbait.
Oh,
Ooh, okay, that
Because you can't ask him to be nice like
that's fair.
Rodgers for like all
I
of
feel
his
like
videos.
a Rodgers jersey, and you cannot criticize Aaron Rodgers the entire season.
And every
on
week we
half
will
the
try and
season.
prompt him
Half
with
the
an Aaron
season.
Rodgers question.
right. And what do we punish? We have
Wait,
to punish him further.
when
if
is
he
your bye week?
criticizes
When
him
is your
on
bye
stream.
week?
Week 5.
yeah, it's
Week
an early
5.
bye week.
It's early.
What about to the bye week? I feel like the whole season is egregious.
Okay,
It
so
is
let's
egregious.
cut it in the middle and let's go like week 9, middle of the season. Because the Packers also
Week
played.
No
9,
criticism of Aaron Rodgers.
no criticism on clickbait.
So the
but-
Rodgers jersey and on clickbait for half the season cannot criticize Aaron Rodgers.
You just
Is it a Rodgers Steelers or a Rodgers Jets jersey? Just one.
Rodgers Jets, baby.
You want Jets?
Okay.
no Steelers.
Yes.
Yeah, I gotta go
That's
Steelers.
the
We're going
irony.
Steelers.
Okay, Steelers. Okay, here we go. Steelers.
I'm going to hate that jersey. I'm going to burn it once he leaves.
You won't. You will not.
I still have a Saquon jersey because of you.
I have my Kenny Pickett jersey. I want to wear
Watch
that.
him. I have an Aaron Rodgers Vikings jersey. Thank God, from years ago.
I was hoping that he would go to the Vikings. I wanted the Brett Favre cycle to complete so badly.
Like literally, it's
Come
still here. I can't even.
I still have my
find a
Antonio
fire
Brown
with
Bucks
it.
jersey. Come on, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another glorious episode of Clickbait Sports. We'll see you next week, maybe.
I'm Tom.
Maybe.
Oh no, now we're
I
done.
mean, look at this. Look at this. Exactly. Look at this
You guys
crap.
know it.
All year. This is a ripoff.
I did X5. I did.